They called a man play, and they ended up faking a zone. So the whole bench was yelling zone, zone, zone. So we tried to switch the play last second. We ended up getting confused. So Tommy swung it to me, and I initially was like, all right, I'm going to try and get to the rim right here. We're only down 2. We don't need a 3. And he flipped his hips real hard, and I tossed it back. And as soon as I let it go, I knew it was in.
Campbell to plug it in. 81-79 Union. Inbounds it goes. Dribbling it out from Tommy Murs. Swings it over to Campbell. Campbell on the wing for the lead. Oh my God! Blake Campbell! It's a 3! Into the front court for the win! No good! No good! No good! Blake Campbell with some onions from Jackson, Tennessee!
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. Its daily update on Bama sports is brought to you by Everwood Treatment Company, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. Everwood, wood treated right. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Alabama women's basketball picked up a Super Bowl Sunday win at Mississippi State, 80-60 in Starkville. Here are our post-game thoughts from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Christy Curry.
10-0 run, and that led to a dominant first half. What was important in the first 5 minutes of this game?
I just thought we did a really nice job of executing the game plan. Started on the defensive end, and when we can get solid stops and get our transition game going and the way our kids shared the basketball. So I love the execution of the game plan. I thought the majority of the minutes, especially to start the game, we did a really good job with that.
19 assists for your team. Once again, Sarah Ashley Barker with 8. We saw that a couple of games ago as well. I mean, how is she distributing to her teammates so well?
Well, I mean, she just does such a great job of drawing so much attention. And then when she does, finding the open person. But her facilitator ability is special. And I thought that she did a really nice job of finding other people and seeing the floor. And, you know, we can have the ball in our hands. Good things happen.
I'll have more in a moment.
Producing championship quality lumber is not an easy process, but at Everwood Preserving, it's our only process. Wood treated right. Everwood offers top-notch pressure-treated wood for decks, outdoor structures, commercial jobs, and more that you can build your reputation on. When it comes to quality, we're on the winning team. Visit your local Everwood dealer today and discover the difference for yourself. Everwood Preserving Incorporated, the official lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
If you missed last night's edition of Hey Coach and the Nate Oates Show from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, catch it on demand on the Alabama Insider podcast, as well as a video archive on the CTSN YouTube channel. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Everwood. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And there you go. We're back. We're live. We're brand new. It's Tuesday here in the Tennessee Valley. It's Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And hope you get your galoshes, whatever else you need today, because it's going to rain.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're working it out. I'm on 3. Okay, there we go. So you're saying it's going to be a yellow submarine day?
It is going to be a yellow submarine type of day.
Yeah, okay. It's not raining yet, but it's kind of chilly, but just wondered. I mean, I did check the weather last night. It's 90% chance of rain. So
there's going to be a 65% chance at 8, 70% chance at 9. It's going to work its way up to about 80% at 3 p.m. Of course, it's raining all day at this point.
Right.
According to my little thing here, now I am not a meteorologist.
No, we are not. No, we've had meteorologists on the show.
It does not go away at all until tomorrow at some point.
You remember
like it's raining all day. Like once it starts, it kind of was spitting a little bit this morning. Once it starts, it's not supposed to stop for a while.
Oh, okay.
Like probably until maybe Friday.
Okay.
No, seriously, like we supposed to get a lot of rain coming up here.
Well, I'll just say,
our good friend Brad Travis has slapped it as a weather day.
Okay, I was going to ask that because the last time we had him on for Snowmageddon, 2025.
He has slapped this on as a weather day.
He pretty much nailed it. Like he said,
did.
He said, it's going to start tomorrow. It's going to start. It'll be snowing while you guys are doing the show. When we came back out, it was like a winter wonderland. And you drove around a little bit, made some stops. I was just trying to get the hell home. I followed your advice, went down Whitesburg, was like, let me just get home.
See?
I already had my Joe Biden groceries, which is $6,542 or whatever
for 2 items.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, and so, and I've still got some left, so I'm still well stocked. But
good.
Yeah, and
good.
And hey, everybody, if you're who's listening, and we'll announce this in the second hour too. Since it is raining, and Scott has given us his the forecast via his good friend Brad Travis that it's going to rain today. We will be over at Greenbrier Barbecue doing our annual recruiting wrap. A little late this year, Scott, because there was no activity for Alabama on last week in February, but most of the hay was in the barn. But because of basketball schedules, high school basketball, stuff of that nature, we didn't do it the day after signing day like usual. We had commitments. And so Freddie Kirby and I, though, will be at Greenbrier Barbecue tonight, starting around 5, doing that, and we'll be there from about 5 to 8. We're going to have a great fellowship. If you're a Bama fan or even just love recruiting, come on out and hear us talk about Alabama's recruiting class. We're really excited about that. We do this every year, and we're going to be doing that tonight from the old Greenbrier Barbecue. You can stay out of the rain, stay out of the weather, and you can come talk some Bama recruiting. We'll be out of there, and then we're all going to go watch Bama in Texas tonight. That's the late game. Nate Oates and the boys did not come back home to Tuscaloosa. They did everything on location in Austin with the K coach that you heard last night. Chris Stewart already there, Brian Pasick and the crew. So they're going to be playing the Texas Longhorns tonight. And then we all know what's after that. Auburn playing Vanderbilt earlier tonight at Vandy, and then the Iron Bowl of basketball.
Yep.
We previewed it yesterday, 1 versus 2. And Scott, it's a split poll, man.
Well, it is. And I don't know how many people really realized at this point in the season that there's actually a coach's poll out there.
Yeah.
Those that really want to pay attention to it do. The AP poll came out yesterday, 1,479 votes for Auburn. They got 34 first place votes. Alabama, number 2 in the AP poll, 1,470 votes. They got 23 first place votes. Now, Florida picked up 3 first place votes. Tennessee picked up 1. Duke slides in at number 3, as well as Florida. They both check in at number 3 in the polls. So the SEC has, in the AP poll, the number 1 team, the number 2 team, the number 3 team, the number 5 team, the number 8 team, inside the top 10.
It's like the 85 Big East. That's all I'm saying. It's just like pretty much dominated by the SEC.
Well, it's like watching college football during the regular season.
Until the last 2 years when the Big Ten thinks they're good.
Yes.
They're flexing and, I stay on a national championship. And Michigan won it the year before, and you guys stink. And you're about to get mallets dropped on your head. Just understand that.
Well, then in the coaches poll, Alabama goes up to number 1 in the coaches poll. Now, they did not get the most first place votes in the coaches poll. They got 758 votes. They got 15 first place votes. Auburn, number 2 in the coaches poll, but got 16 first place votes and 741 total points. So Alabama moves up to 1 in the coaches poll, Auburn 2. Now, in the coaches poll, it's a little bit more heavier on the SEC side because they have the number 1 team, the number 2 team, the number 3 team, the number 4 team. So we have 1 through 4 in the coaches poll, and Texas A&M is still inside the top 10 in the coaches poll. Instead of being 8 like they are in the AP, they're number 9 in the coaches poll. So that's your AP top 25 in your coaches poll. So the SEC again. Well, Kentucky does check in at number 15 in the AP, 18 in the coaches poll as well. So
and
there you go.
Playing on Wednesday in the SEC tournament right now because the league's so hard, so tough. Okay,
it'd be a tie. I don't know who would get that spot because there's 3 teams tied.
Oh yeah, okay.
Remember, I believe it's Mississippi State, Kentucky.
And we're going to talk to Brian Haydad
and Vanderbilt, by the way.
Yeah, because Mississippi State. This is a nice slate. The next 2 days, man. a lot of good matchups in the SEC in basketball. And we're going to talk Mississippi State at 7:30.
Yes, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky. They're 5-5. And that would be one of those three, as of right now, would be playing on the first day in the SEC basketball tournament. They would have to win 5 games in 5 days to get the automatic berth.
Which would hopefully be the Lakers in the NBA, because they won just disgusting, whatever. But Mississippi State playing the Florida Gators, the Red Hot Gators, in Starkville tonight, though. Can the Gators, continue to channel this energy? We're going to talk to Brian Haydad about that here in a few minutes in the first hour. And then our great friend, Jack Pilgrim of Kentucky Sports Radio, who
we need to talk to him.
I really enjoy his daily content, especially from the YouTube channel. Does an outstanding job. And he will give us the latest. This is a big matchup tonight, too, because we all know what happened in Thompson Bowling Arena a couple weeks ago. Probably the biggest win of the season thus far for Kentucky. They did not have Lamont Butler. They go into Thompson Bowling when they were an underdog, and they win 78-73, trying to sweep Tennessee tonight. And Tennessee comes in playing exceptional basketball, ranked in the top 5. And like you said, Tennessee trying to stay out of the 5 games in 5 days. Or excuse me, Kentucky trying to stay out of it. Tennessee, but Tennessee's only like a game ahead.
If Tennessee would fall tonight, they would be 7-5.
Right.
Think about that.
In the conference,
they'd be 7-5
20-5 overall, but 7-5 in the league.
Ranked inside the top 5 in the country, but could be on the bubble to be playing on the first day of the SEC basketball tournament and having to win 5 games in 5 days to get the automatic berth. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to get in the SEC or the NCAA tournament if you're playing on the first day. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying the road to get to the title in the SEC tournament is brutal if you're having to play on that first day. They would fall to 7-5. So if Mississippi State would somehow find a way to beat Florida, boom, they're up there. If Kentucky gets that win over Tennessee, Mississippi State and Vanderbilt fall tonight, Kentucky would be above the first line, I guess you would say. And then it would be between Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. Those two would be battling for that spot. They'd be both below 500 in the league.
What's interesting, though, I'm just looking at the point spreads, is that they're expecting Auburn to bounce back. This is pretty significant to me in a bigger spread than I would have thought for Auburn going on the road at Vandy. They're very dangerous. Auburn, an 8.5-point favorite, and they were a 9.5-point favorite at home over Florida, but they're an 8.5-point favorite on the road at Vanderbilt.
Think of how many times Auburn, and I'll tell you what, here is Bruce Pearl. And you're talking about that.
We're actually going to have audio today?
We have audio.
Oh.
Yeah. It's amazing when you have all the equipment, you can do things.
Okay. We're not missing any cables.
We're not missing anything. Here's Bruce Pearl. To your point,
right?
Remember, Auburn's an 8.5-point spread. Listen to Bruce Pearl here real fast.
What was Tennessee ranked when they beat them? All right, and then they beat Kentucky. Tennessee was 6 and Kentucky was 9, right? And they're 12-1 there. We've won 7 out of 8 against Vanderbilt, and prior to that, we'd lost 13 in a row. And so this has been Vanderbilt's been a tough place for us to play historically.
Well, it really has when they're good. Now they've been horrendous at times in the last
right
7, 8, 9, 10 years, but they're good this year, I think.
Memorial Coliseum has been a coliseum of horrors for Auburn.
Memorial Gym is we all know,
and they're an 8.5-point favorite
got
on
the
road.
Weird sidelines. You're basically under the baskets or whatever, and it's strange. And they're good. They've already Bruce Pearl was talking about it. They beat Tennessee. And then, they beat Kentucky. So they've already beaten 2 top 10 teams at the time there. And they've only lost 1 game all season in Nashville. So they're good. And so this is going to be a really interesting test for Auburn to hold serve. And then Alabama, they're a 2.5-point favorite, I believe, at Texas, a slight favorite against the Longhorns. And they're trying to win in the Moody Center and hold serve for Armageddon coming up on Saturday.
Let's go out to the phone lines. Pat from Tuscaloosa is with us. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Pat.
Guys, how come Alabama's not getting any respect whatsoever? I mean, hey, this is incredible.
Hold on. What are you saying? No respect.
No respect. They're getting their 5.5-point dogs to a fat fella named Bruce Pearl Saturday. Hey, and I shouldn't be talking about Saturday yet because we got to get past Texas. But I just don't understand it. Tell me, guys, what's going on with the Silk Suits in Vegas? All the pro money is going on Alabama.
I'll just say on ESPN, the app, Pat, they haven't got a point spread yet. They probably won't have it until maybe the day before. Now, I think you're referring to there was an odds maker last week who came on before Auburn got beat at home by Florida and said that pretty much the rest of the season, Auburn was a significant favorite in his mind over everybody they were playing, and he had them 5.5 over Alabama, even in Tuscaloosa. But that was before they got whipped by Florida at home. And again, they're a significant favorite tonight. I mean, 8.5 in Nashville. We'll see what happens. It's going to depend, Pat, on how Auburn looks tonight. Do they bounce back? And then how does Alabama handle Texas after the physical game they had against Arkansas? Can Alabama win on the road?
Initial line
again?
Being probably around 3.
It's going to be, it'll be tight. It'll be either. It might even be. I think overall it's going to be one of those. Either Alabama's a 1.5 point favorite, or Auburn's maybe a 2-point favorite. Either way, I think it'll be that close. I don't think it's going to be 5.5 unless one of these two teams gets an injury tonight. Pray the Lord they don't, or somehow one of them lays a turd, or both. If they both do, it won't really hurt that matchup from the standpoint. They'll just say, well, they're both coming off of bad performances. They got to bounce back, but. If they both play well tonight, I think it'll be a very tight spread. And again, it's just going to depend on how both teams look, honestly, Pat.
Hey, without Joakim Noah, they going into the hump to play Mississippi State and Florida is. Hey, that's going to be a good basket. I think that's going to be must-see TV for me.
I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. There's no doubt. We're going to talk to Brian Haydad about that because Mississippi State, we're going to ask him, was that a must-win this past Saturday? Because they go to Georgia and they win by 1, and they get a road win. And now Georgia's, a significant underdog themselves tonight because they are on the road. And
Florida's a 1.5 favorite on the road over Mississippi State tonight.
Well, I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
Florida's playing well, and Mississippi State has lost it at the hump, but they're tough there. That sounds about right to me. It's going to be a tight game, I think, and then Georgia's got to go to Texas A&M, which is never easy.
And a lot of that Florida spread is because of the success they had over Auburn over the weekend.
They blitzkrieg, and see, that changes a lot of things. So, and again, Pat, what you referenced a few days ago, if Alabama and Auburn hold serve, I expect it to be a nut house, and I expect it to be if you had to ask me who will be favored going into the game, I would say if they both win,
I'm going to say Alabama because it's
by
at home.
1 or 1.5
because it's at home.
But that would be me.
Yeah, I'm concerned just for the weekend because my daughter-in-law owns my tickets. And, she says if she can get over $1,000 for it, I'm not going to get to go to the basketball game.
Pat, you're going to get locked out. How can they lock you out, man? Come on, man.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Is she going to make you pay $1,000? You're not paying $1,000.
Thanks for the phone call, Pat.
Y'all have a blessed day. But hey, we got seats. Hey, I'm only 14 rows up.
There you go.
For big money.
All right.
Thanks, have a blessed one, guys.
Thank you.
All right. So the game is going to be on ESPN on Saturday.
No, we have a question. Somebody sent us one on X.
Right.
A little DM, and I'm going to ask you because you may have looked. They want to know, is Dick Vitale on the call? I would think it's Dan Shulman and Jay Billis, right?
I would think it's I would think it's Dan Shulman and Jay Billis because it's their. I mean, the
game day crew. Yeah.
Here's how it works: ESPN hires out a lot of people to do these games as far as production crews.
Yeah.
But when they bring game day to your town and ESPN comes to the town, they bring ESPN the main crew.
The A team.
The A team has their own truck. They're same camera guys. Everything travels with them week to week. So last week, even though the game was on ESPN2, at Auburn, Jay Billis did the game from Auburn, did game day remotely. Game day was in Iowa State last week. And
that's right.
I wouldn't go to Ames either if I was Jay Billis. But so he did it remotely. He did it remotely from Auburn because they had the number one crew there in Auburn. They're going to be there, I believe, for the Alabama game. But here is the thing. Here is the thing. I am willing to bet that this Alabama-Auburn game will start on ESPN News on Saturday. So you better get ready to find it. The reason why is because it's part of a triple hitter for ESPN.
Right.
They've got Arkansas, Texas A&M at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
That leads into Houston at Arizona at 1 p.m. On ESPN. It's tipping off at 1 p.m. Are you saying is ESPN?
Here's what they have to do. Come on, guys.
That one is going to get done in 2 hours?
You got to switch Houston over to ESPN News and start the Iron Bowl of basketball on time, okay, and on the main network.
Do you think
Don't
Houston
do this 1 versus 2 and then make you miss about that? And it's only in a triple overtime with Houston. We're going to miss the whole first. No, don't do that.
It is good. I'm willing to bet.
Sampson, but you got to switch them to ESPN News.
I am willing to bet that Alabama and Auburn does not start on time on ESPN.
Don't do this to people already. Their anxiety is going to go through the roof.
I was like, are you saying Houston and Arizona is going to get done in 2 hours?
Don't do this. Now I'm pissed. I didn't know. Oh, this sucks.
Let's get a break in. We'll get back to your phone calls and more college basketball. We'll check in with Nate Oates in his hotel room as Alabama gets ready for Texas tonight as well.
It was so funny last night.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of wrecks trying to clear. Got 53 southbound at Blake Bottom. That one was a no injury. And we got 20 westbound at Oak Street in Decatur, also a no injury. Everything else from earlier should be cleared out of the way now. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tuscaloosa, we live by the blue-collar basketball motto.
Stepping back, deep three.
Hard work.
2-on-1, driving, stepping through, top shot, got it to go.
Teamwork.
Playing the song for the champions of the Southeastern Conference.
Join us for every game right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. he finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Believe. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Never miss 1 second of Charger basketball with the Charger Zone.
Murr attacks it, lobs it, shooting it down. It's Daniel Saylor on the alley-oop right out of the game.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
All right, welcome back. 7:23 on a Monday morning or Tuesday morning in studio. We are wanted to say
it's Tuesday with a yellow
Monday.
submarine.
It's coming, boys. It's coming. So a lot has been made, and we're going to make a lot of it Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because it will be 1 versus 2 inside Coleman Coliseum on Saturday for Alabama basketball and Auburn basketball. And we know both of them have to get through their games tonight, but it is the biggest topic of conversation right now in the state. By the way, this was hard to believe.
Right.
It's the first ever 1 versus 2 matchup in the Southeastern Conference. Ever. Think about
basketball.
that. Yes,
With
in basketball.
all the great teams Kentucky has had and all the national championships they've won.
Yeah.
And then Tennessee, even in the 70s with Ernie and Bernie show. And then, and then we know that Bruce Pearl had them rolling there for a while. And then Rick Barnes, he's had some highly ranked teams. It's never been 1 and 2. You would have thought maybe, and then Billy Donovan.
I'm thinking Billy Donovan in Kentucky.
Yeah, Billy Donovan in Kentucky, Florida versus Kentucky in those days. I can't believe there was never a 1 and 2 matchup there. It's really, really stunning when you heard that because there's been so many great teams. But Alabama hadn't been number 1 that often. I mean, they've been number 1 a few times in Auburn recently as well. But with Kentucky and Rick Pitino and what he did and Tubby Smith, it's just hard to believe. There were some quality teams in the SEC. Now, the SEC wasn't deep back in the Billy Donovan Gator days. It was mainly a 2-team league, Kentucky and Florida. But you would have thought with some of the epic matchups they had, it would have been a 1 versus 2 at some point. That is surprising.
All right, the last time it has happened with a true home game. Now, it's happened on a lot of neutral sites because you get a lot of these preseason challenges in New York and Chicago. 2016, Kansas and Oklahoma.
From the same league?
Yep. And well, that's the last time we've had a true home 1 versus 2.
Oh, gotcha.
2016, Kansas and Oklahoma. Just so happened to be Big 12.
Oklahoma's was in the Big 12 then.
3 overtimes.
Instead of getting shellacked in the SEC like they're doing right now.
109-106.
Football and basketball have been a little rough on the Sooners since joining the real league.
Well, football, I mean, Longhorn, the Sooners have
didn't have a rough time against Alabama, though, because Bone Anchor 4 was at quarterback.
Let's get out to the phone lines. Always pleasant on a rainy-ass day to talk to Jeff from the Borough. Good morning, Jeff.
I got some say, Robson's out spot for you. You got a bad reason.
Is he? I didn't know that. Thank you for the report.
Yeah.
We can ask that of Jack Pilgrim. We'll talk about Jack.
I'm sure old Pilgrim lets you know from KSR, but do such a great job for Kentucky.
You don't like him?
No.
Why?
I don't care for Matt Jones. No.
Why?
There's the fan base. He just bitch every time. I told him the other day, I said, Pilgrim, did you enjoy your trip to Knoxville? Yeah. Did you enjoy Calipari beating you? Like I said, all these people. This last Saturday when they lost to Arkansas, always did one of them gone, and they got to come up and one of them finished, one of them gone. It was done. It was a bash. It was a boo and all that. But what he could have done if he didn't have no class, he would have flipped them all off. At least
you talking about Calipari could have flicked them off?
Yeah. He could if he wanted to. He went over and shook hopes, and he's got class. And so he could have flipped them all off and rubs to screw you. But he didn't do that. So, I mean, Arkansas beat us. I ain't got no problem with it. I mean, they beat Texas where they almost beat Alabama. I don't have no problem with Calipari. I really don't. But the rest of these fans do. I got a next door neighbor, one of them gone 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing.
He didn't win enough natties.
If John Calipari would have retired and left the game of college basketball, I think a lot more Kentucky fans probably would be okay with everything. But the fact that he left Kentucky and then went to another SEC school to try to do what he's been doing, yeah, I think that angered a lot of Kentucky fans because he's still coaching and he's still coaching in the league.
Well, there's angry. Tino left for Louisville. Is angry about that too.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like Nick Saban going from LSU to Alabama. I can see that.
He's angry about that too. What's Tino doing to St. John's right now? Top 10, isn't it?
Yeah, he's doing great.
They beat somebody named Dan Hurley. He's pretty good, Joe. Pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good coach. That's.
But he said I hadn't died of Lakers, and now he was he goes, baby, they ain't nothing this year, darling. They ain't gonna win no 3-peat. They may well forget that because like the Chiefs on Sunday, they forget that business.
I don't think so either. I think they're good, but I agree with Jeff. I don't think so.
He sure took that money like he was and die. He doing the NBA no good. They say in the college game, sure took that cash, but he was in. He wants to stay in store with because he wants to see Geno's trophies, 11 of them, babe. So like I say, and so, but I hope we get Tennessee tonight and enjoy our Mississippi State talk. But he's done one down there, so we took care of business.
Thank you for the health update.
By the way, St. John's. Right. Now UConn has been really good in the Big East. Okay,
yeah.
Don't get mistaken, but this is the highest time. This is for the first time since 1991 that St. John's is the highest ranked Big East team in the poll.
Was that Brian Mahoney? Who had taken over for Louis? Because I think Louis was retired by then.
Did Louis retire in 91?
Well, no,
before 91, did he?
I think. I mean, we can check it with the bad sweaters, but I was thinking Brian Mahoney had taken over.
Lou Carnesecca. Let's check on.
Who just passed away
Lou.
in the last several months, by the way.
92 was his last time in St. John's. He coached until 92.
So Louis was still at the very end.
Very end. St. John's is the
wow.
highest ranked Big East team in an in-season AP poll for the first time since January 28th of 1991.
Wow. That's back in the day, man.
That's the Big East, like the Big East.
You know,
not this.
I don't want to make
version
Jeff
of
run
it.
off the road, but you know, when the national championship that year,
Throw it.
the Duke Blue Devils for the first time under Mike Krzyzewski. They beat
91.
They beat UNLV.
Was that in Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh wait, hold it.
wait,
Jeff's
where was
going to
that
correct
one?
me. Jeff's going to correct me. I'm sorry. They did beat UNLV in '91, but then they beat Kansas in the finals. So he would have probably corrected me and said that was a semifinal. But yeah, Duke won it in '91, and then repeated and beat the Fab Five in '92. Because remember, not the Fab Five was around. That was their first year in '91. So yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I mean,
all right, we got to get a break in.
First one.
We got to talk Mississippi State basketball.
Yes, we do.
Brian Haydad. He's coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Rain's going to stick with us as we head into the overnight and into Wednesday morning. Allow yourself a couple of extra minutes as you head out the door for work on Wednesday morning. We drop into the mid and upper 40s. Temperature is going to be a little bit warmer Wednesday afternoon. We're also going to hold on to the rain across the Tennessee Valley. We climb into the upper 50s and lower 60s, dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight early into your Thursday morning. Rain's going to begin to slow down a little bit as we head into Thursday afternoon. A mostly cloudy sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of wrecks. 53 Lake Bottom, that one was a no injury. And we got 20 westbound at Oak Street in Decatur, also a no injury. Everything else from earlier should be cleared out of the way now. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganville here from my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment.
Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
It's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. Tired of that washer walking out the door and having to dry a load 2 or 3 times? It's time for a new washer and dryer. Pick from brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, and of course, Speed Queen. Try the new 2-in-1 GE Profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center.
Sports Talk, 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The
Does
Zone.
anyone do any work around this joint
Oh, we're back. We're back. The Love Line. Get ready for it. It's coming.
No.
It's coming. Fill you everybody in here in the next day or so. Anyway, Mississippi State at home tonight in the hump. Getting ready to take on the Florida Gators. Florida coming to town fresh off that win over number 1 Auburn. It is 3rd-ranked Florida, 22nd-ranked Mississippi State. The Gators come in a 1.5 favorite over the Bulldogs, and all of a sudden, this is a huge game. Not only is it the fact that you got 3rd-ranked Florida coming,
right?
But you look at the SEC standings. This is a monster game for the Bulldogs.
It really is. It's a total monster game, and you know what? Time flies when you're having fun. I cannot believe it has been 7 months since we last talked to Brian Haydad. He talked to us on Radio Row in Dallas, Texas, the Fort Worth, Fort Worth. They're at the SEC Media Days. He's with Super Talk Mississippi. They have their daily radio program from 3 to 6 each Monday through Friday. He also does the daily Thunder and Lightning podcast with our good friend Robbie Falk, who joined us just several days ago, who to talk Mississippi State. He does a great job. I love watching that particular show. They've gone to YouTube and they're doing a great job. I've almost memorized their sponsors. Next time I go to Starkville, I've got to check out some of their because you and I love to eat, man. Okay.
No, there's not been a meal I don't like.
And I just listen to Brian talk about filet mignon and all the food. It's amazing. But and we
it better be medium rare.
Well, I mean, he trust me. If we go to Starkville, Brian Haydad can hook us up, and he's about to hook us up on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, gentlemen. How are you?
We're good. I mean, you can hook us up, man. You and Robbie seem to know all the great eating places in Starkville.
Well, when are we going?
Well, that's on to y'all. you make the call, and you let me know you're on the way. You'll have a list of places you need to check out immediately.
No,
woo, there we go.
Speaking of, we were talking about Ric Flair off the air, and I just happened to take a look at your X account, and you're with the great Ric Flair. That looks like a pretty recent photo there too, Brian.
That was February of last year when AEW was in Huntsville.
Oh wow! So you were in the Rocket City.
You came over.
Yes. I was there. I had a buddy of mine, Brandon Walker, who works for
Yes,
Marshall
that's
Ford.
right. Right.
I asked if he could hook us up, so he got me in touch with some people, and they took us back. This is a good story. Took us backstage, and the guy was like, "Anybody you want to meet, take a picture with? That just let me know." So we walk in, and we're going into catering, and I see out of the corner of my eye this bright green suit, and I just looked, and I turned around to Robbie Falk was with me, and I just went, "That's Flair." And the guy just looked at me, and I just pointed. I was like, "Oh, we'll talk to him." And Robbie tells Flair, "Hey, I saw you at WrestleMania a couple years ago." And Rick goes, "Well, how'd you know it was me?" He's like, You were double fisting vodka cranberries." He's like, "Yep, that was me, all right."
Wow, that's a great story. Got to meet
there
the
we
great
go.
Ric Flair. There you go, man. Well, big basketball game coming up tonight in Starkville for Mississippi State. But before we talk about that, I know you guys, it was a big topic on the Thunder and Lightning podcast. In your mind, though, you and Robbie's mind, was that a must-win on the road for Mississippi State Saturday?
It was as close to must win it as you can get. State could have lost that game, and they still would have been in fine shape for the NCAA tournament. But when you look at this stretch they're in right now, and everybody in the SEC has these stretches this season because of the way the conference is playing basketball. But you were going to be at Georgia, then Florida at home, then at Ole Miss, and then Texas A&M at home. You got to get at least one win in there. You like to be 2-2 in that situation. So getting that win at Georgia, that's a quad 1 win. It will stay a quad 1 win all season long in all likelihood. And just to get off the schneid a little bit, they had that tough loss to Alabama at home. And then they really let Bama beat them twice. And the way they played against Missouri, you could tell that emotionally they were just not back into it in that game. And Missouri handled them really easily. That's easily State's worst loss of the season in terms of the way they played. So they snapped out of it a little bit. This is a game Saturday that it would have been a really easy win if State could make some free throws. They were 6 of 18 from the free throw line. And if they make 12 of 18, that game is never in doubt going down the stretch. So good win for State, and we'll see what it does for them mentally. In another big game here at the Hump tonight. It's the second time that State's played at the time a top 5 opponent here at the Humphrey Coliseum. They lost to Kentucky. They lost to Alabama. They would love to get that big-time win on their resume tonight.
Well, and I was just really impressed with him against Alabama. I mean, Josh Hubbard looked like Devin Booker. I mean, he was unbelievable. And then I know the kid because I know his high school coach well. It's been really cool because I know he was in the portal for a brief time, but Chris Jans, who I think does a great job, talked him back into staying on the squad, and he's really had, to me, a breakout year this year in Keyshawn Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy has become that second scorer for Mississippi State. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been playing really well, making a real big case for SEC Sixth Man of the Year, in my opinion. And Hubbard, he had been struggling prior to that Alabama game, had just not been playing very well. And to see him come out in that game, it hurt to watch State waste that performance. He had 38, and in a losing effort. You'd like to get the win when your star player gives you that kind of game. But he has, in these last 3 games, been playing much better basketball than he was playing the previous 5 or 6. And you hope that he can keep that going tonight. He seems to be in a good rhythm. He seems to be doing a better job of getting to the rim and taking easier shots than just constantly relying on the three-point ball. That's what he did Saturday against Georgia. Against this Florida defense, which is so athletic, and they got so many big men, that might be a little tougher ask. So State's complimentary guys like Riley Kugel, R.J. Melendez, and Claudel Harris, are going to have to step up tonight and give State scoring if they want to have any chance to beat Florida.
Yeah, because, it doesn't get any easier. After tonight, it's another ranked matchup with Ole Miss on the 15th on Saturday. This one's at home, and you kind of alluded to it with the Alabama loss at home. They did get Ole Miss at home, and they did get Memphis at Memphis. Those are some good ranked wins. But this is the type of one, kind of like that Kentucky one, you can't let this one get away because it's at home.
Yeah, that's one of the issues with State this year is they've lost 3 home games in conference. Most teams have been able to defend their home court really well. State has not, and they had a chance to beat Kentucky, and they had a chance to beat Alabama. They were never really in the Missouri game, but, like I said, I think that was a byproduct of the way they played against Alabama. I expect the game to be close tonight. I think you alluded to it. The line is very low. I think State will be in the game. It's just going to be a question of do they not make the mistakes that they made against Kentucky, that they made against Alabama, and they finally, follow through and win a game. Florida's playing really good basketball right now. I don't know if this is the best time to play them or the worst time to play them. Are you playing when they're a little overconfident, just coming off that win at Auburn, or are you playing a team that's locked in right this second and starting to play its best basketball? I guess we'll find out a little later this evening. But there's really never a great time to play the number 3 team in the country, but at least you get them at home. You should be a great atmosphere. State's the hump this year has been really, really good for basketball. And looking forward to it tonight. It should be a big game.
How healthy are they, though? Because against Alabama, we saw, Melendez was kind of banged up, didn't play a lot. I know Kugel's been a little banged up. Are they healthy right now? And then even Hubbard, that's not really talked about a lot. That small stretch that he missed against Alabama of that game might have really been the difference for Alabama to escape.
Yeah, the way he played in that game, any time on the bench was time he could have been scoring points. They could have been worth 2 or 3 points to Mississippi State. State's as healthy as they can be. Kanye Clary's out for the season. He's a guy that, they brought in to try to be that point guard to match up with Hubbard. But he's out for the season. Other than that, it's just the usual aches and pains that you're going to be experiencing at this time of year. I expect State to be able to play with its full complement that it's been playing with these past few weeks.
And you look at the grand picture. Going into tonight, Mississippi State is 30th in the net rankings. They're 31st in the Ken Palm rankings. Those numbers are all fantastic when you're looking at your NCAA tournament resume. But the schedule ahead is not easy. There's still games with Alabama on the horizon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. You've got Texas. You've got Arkansas on the horizon. Mississippi State at this point is in good shape when you're looking at postseason future, but you still have to keep those wins rolling if you want to stay in that picture.
Yeah, I think State right now is just about trying to stay out of the bubble conversation. Right now State is probably a solid 5, 6, 7 seed. If they can go 1-1 this week, it doesn't really matter who you beat. If you beat Florida today and you lose to Ole Miss, yeah, it stings to lose to Ole Miss, but you're fine. If you beat Ole Miss but you lose to Florida, you're fine. So that's just what it's going to be. State needs to at 9-9. You're probably a 5 seed. The way the conference is stacked up this year in terms of net. So, if State wins one game this week, they're 6-6. And then, like you mentioned, that they get to play Texas at home. They go to Oklahoma. Oklahoma has not been great this year. They get LSU at home. They have to go to Arkansas at the end of the season. I don't know what that Arkansas team is going to be at that point, but Jan's is a success against Arkansas. So, you have a chance to get those 9 wins, be 9-9. And if you could be 10-8, you're probably talking about being a 4 seed. So the strength of the conference definitely raises up State's profile a lot. But State's a good basketball team, like you mentioned. They've had some good wins. They won at SMU. That's still a quad one win for State. They beat Utah on a neutral court. They beat UNLV on a neutral court. They've had some decent wins throughout the year. And they've been at home. They've been really good. It's just a matter of they played Kentucky when Kentucky was hot. They played Alabama, and I forget the kid's name, but he goes for 27 when he's averaging 7 points.
Youngblood, he had 7-3. Yeah.
Just couldn't miss in that game. A good player, not that he's not a good player, but he had not been playing at that level prior to the game in Starkville. So that makes you. I'll just give you probably a lead pipe lock for tonight. Pick somebody on Florida's roster who's averaging less than 10 points a game, and he will have 25. I would almost be willing to guarantee it.
Well, we're talking to Brian Haydad. We're wrapping it up. Super Talk Mississippi. He'll be on later today, 3 to 6. And of course, their daily podcast with Robbie Falk, Thunder and Lightning. Please check that out on YouTube and all podcast platforms. I really enjoyed their conversations. But now that in your mind, though, Brian, as you said, 1 in 1 week would be great. And then I would think too, you want to avoid down the stretch, maybe being on, Scott and I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, being on that Wednesday, having to win 5 in a row in the SEC tournament to win it. You'd rather at least be on that Thursday. And then every win you get in the tournament is stacking it and improving maybe your seed line.
And the main thing you want, Drew, is you want to be able to go to the SEC tournament and say, it doesn't matter if we win one game here.
Right.
We're in the tournament. We're locked in. We're
just improving ourselves.
Yeah. It's just about getting a better seed. The last 2 seasons, State has gone to Nashville needing to win at least one game to guarantee where they were going to be. They've been able to do that, but they would love very much is to show up and be like, all right, if we go home after one day and get some extra rest, nobody's going to be too mad about it. So you'd like to make a run. It's fun at the SEC tournament when you have a deep run there. That's what really gets March Madness started. But it's hopefully going to be at a point where it's not an issue for them.
Yeah, we'll definitely be tuning in for that. No question about it. One final question for me, I'd have to ask it. It was a rough first season for Jeff Lebby. I think they seem to have they had a pretty good portal season so far. They're adding guys out of the transfer portal. I know the high school recruiting was a little rough because of the performance on the field. How big a second year is this for Jeff Lebby?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because they could be a lot better. Like the way they could play a ton better. But your home games include Arizona State, that's a playoff team. Texas, that's a playoff team. Georgia, that's a playoff team. Tennessee, that's a playoff team. And Ole Miss, who was very close to being a playoff team. So 5 of your 7 home games are against basically playoff teams. You got to go to Texas A&M, who's still going to be good. Go to Florida, who looks like they're improved. Go to Missouri, who's won 19 games in the last 2 years. And then you go to Arkansas, and I don't know what Arkansas is going to be. Maybe they'll be battling towards the bottom of the conference, which is where I think State's going to be. I mean, they could be a much better team, but that schedule is so brutal that they may not win a whole lot more games. I think if Lebby could get to 5 wins this year, that would be a massive step forward for him. But that's going to be tough just because of that schedule.
Wow. You've been following Mississippi State for a long time. You're as good as we feature. That's maybe the toughest schedule I can ever remember Mississippi State having in football.
I mean, yeah, I remember, there were a couple years in Mullen's time, like State went 8-4 Mullen's second year. Their losses were to Auburn, who won the national title, LSU, Alabama, and Arkansas, who all finished in the top 10.
Wow.
So, I mean, but even that schedule was a lot more manageable than this one, I think.
Wow, that's some great, unbelievable stuff. Well, Brian, we really appreciate it. Let everybody know how to follow you. Have a great show later this afternoon. We appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, check me out on Twitter @BrianHead. I kept it real simple there. And as Drew's been telling you, Sports Talk Mississippi and the Thunder and Lightning podcast, all available wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you,
thanks,
sir.
Brian.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Let's get this break
That's
in.
a brutal football schedule.
But you know what, though? He mentioned something. He's like, Florida is improved.
Yeah.
Going into this season, even when we were in Dallas, the talk was, well, Florida may not be that great, and it's going to be a long year. It's amazing how Billy Napier has flipped the script and the conversation that when now people look at Florida, it's Florida is improved, not, oh my goodness, when is Billy Napier going to get fired?
In the last couple of weeks, they've added 2 former Bama assistants / and one player, Vinny Sunseri, co-DC.
Who was at Jack State this past year.
No, he was there for a week.
Was it just a week? I thought he was there the whole.
He was the safeties coach at Washington, and then he was there. He was going to be the
Lasted
DC for a week for Charles Kelly at Jacksonville, and then now he's going to be co-DC at Florida. And then the other co-DC.
No offense to Jacksonville, I'd go there too.
You can't turn down an SEC job, but then Robert Bala, who was the former inside linebackers coach at Alabama a couple years ago, I believe he was at UW last year as well. And Robert Bala is now going to be the co-DC and linebackers coach of Florida. And Ron Roberts is going to be the DC, I think. But he's got 2 co-DCs, 2 young coaches, Robert Bala and Vinny Sunseri.
All right, now let's get that break in. Wrap up hour 1 next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Last reported accident was in Decatur, 10th and Market, no injury. The one in Decatur on Woodall at King Arthur ended up being an injury type. Parkway southbound at Green Cove and 53 southbound at Blake Bottom both came in as no injury. You need assistance with a project or maybe finding a new employee? Snelling can help. They also do background checks, computer assessments, and payroll. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying roll tide and war eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Long before winter weather approaches, the Alabama Department of Transportation prepares to maintain interstate and state roads that could be affected by snow and ice.
Yeah, we start training and doing maintenance on snow and ice equipment months in advance to make sure everything is ready for when the freezing weather comes. We will have crews working around the clock that are prepared to plow snow and remove trees that have fallen into the roadway.
Our mission is to keep roadways safe and open. We try to achieve this by focusing on interstate routes first and then secondary roadways by traffic volume.
If the weather allows, we'll start pre-treating the roadways during the day to prepare for the temperature drop at night.
AlDOT wants to keep the public informed during these winter weather events. The best way to learn about state road conditions is the AlGo app and through local media. Brought to you by AlDOT, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, wrapping up hour number 1 here on a Tuesday morning. 256-576-4977. If you want to join the program, feel free to do so. Coming to the bottom of the hour, 8:30, Jack Pilgrim will join us. Let's see here. We've heard from Bruce Pearl. Here is Nate Oates in his hotel room on the Chides Challenge tonight.
I showed a clip of Saban talking on Pat McAfee about, his coaches calling them, asking what he does different for a national championship. Almost looked at him like it's kind of a stupid question. Like, you didn't just have a big game last week you were getting ready for and a big game the week before and just do what we do and stay locked in. Obviously we're not letting rankings go to our head. That'd be stupid. So we got to keep these guys preparing for Texas as if it was a national championship game. And then you get your reps prepping for big games all year. And at least with us this year in the SEC, there's no bad games. I mean, this is a great game. They're really talented. There's, first-round picks on this team. So I don't think it does a whole lot different for us, to be honest with you.
There you go. Nate Oates talking about tonight and going forward.
I just like that he's blunt, stupid. He's really stupid. I mean,
he put it out. He kept it simple, didn't he?
Yeah, I try to do that sometimes too, even though I'm a little over the top. But
he's right, though. I mean, he's right for the teams to get caught up in all of this, to get caught up in the rankings, to get caught up in all this. It is just, it's stupid.
Yeah,
he's right.
You got to play Texas. You can't be worried about Saturday and how nuts it's going to be, and going 94 feet with Jay Billis and all this crap. You got to beat Texas. They're desperate for a win. They blew an opportunity in Nashville where they could have won on the road, and they ended up losing 86-78. And they've had some other close losses. Like they almost won at Ole Miss. They dropped a close one. And they got off to a really slow start in the league and then got a little hot. And now it's been up and down for him. And so Trey Johnson's a really good guard. You got to do a good job against him. Or he could do a Hubbard. Like Hubbard had 38 on you. You got to stop letting people go for 38. All right. I mean, that's ridiculous. You got to do a better job of guarding and taking a guy out of rhythm. And so it's just up to Alabama. I think Alabama has the better team. I think they should win. I wouldn't be surprised if it's very close, but you just got to find a way. It was kind of like what they did against Arkansas. They built a big lead, and then the last 5 minutes it got dicey, but you got to find a way to make a play. There ain't no excuses. And, and then like you heard Brian Haydad say on the road, it was nuts at Mississippi State. I mean, it was crazy, but Chris Youngblood said not today. I mean, he hit 7 threes. So you got to have somebody step up, and maybe they'll have somebody else go crazy tonight. Maybe it's Jaron Stevenson's night. We'll see.
All right, we are just about done with our number one.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the SEC tonight, the ones that we have not mentioned, Texas A&M is an 8.5-point favorite at home over Georgia.
Yeah.
And then Tennessee is a 2.5-point. We mentioned that one, but they are 2.5-point favorite on the road at Kentucky. So those are the 4 matchups tonight.
Go Big Blue. I said
5
it, Jeff.
matchups in the
Go
league.
Big Blue. As I told somebody last night, they said, would you root for Tennessee? I said, not even if they were playing Russia.
Oh, come on now.
No, not doing
Come
it.
on. You surely in the hell cannot root
No.
for Russia.
No, not rooting for Tennessee at all.
Ever.
No.
All right.
Ugh.
Even if it meant winning free pizza for a lifetime.
Oh, good Lord, with that.
I'm just
That
saying.
would never happen.
Well, they would never play Russia either.
Oh, man. Now I'm thinking about Restaurant Tyler, too, in Starkville. one of their sponsors. It's supposed to be the best restaurant in Starkville, Mississippi.
Really? Not a lot in Mississippi.
Oh, don't say that.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa Signature Card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Alabama-Auburn, number 1 and number 2 in the top 25. The top-ranked Tigers today, 9.5-point road favorites at Vanderbilt, 157.5 the total at Nashville. Well, number 2, Alabama plays for its 7th consecutive win, laying 5 at Texas, 164.5 the total in Austin. Elsewhere in the SEC today, number 5, Tennessee, a 1.5 favorite at number 15, Kentucky. Number 8, Texas A&M plays for its 4th straight win, laying 8 at home against the Georgia Bulldogs. While third-ranked Florida is a 2.5-point road favorite at number 22, Mississippi State, 151.5 the total. For more, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, so I did look at Restaurant Tyler. I've pulled up the menu in Starkville.
I knew it would intrigue you.
It did intrigue me, and it does intrigue me. So if you're ever going over to Starkville, and we've got a lot of Mississippi State alumni listening to the show, a lot. Okay, so their appetizers, they've got some barbecue okra, they've got catfish egg rolls, crawfish dip. You can go for the favorites. They've got shrimp and grits, which is house-smoked bacon-wrapped Gulf shrimp over Parmesan cheese grits, finished with a sherry cream sauce and topped with cream spinach.
You know, Scott could do that for a side hustle. Just read a menu for a commercial.
I'm ready to go right now. They have a duck burger, which I've never had. I've never had duck.
I haven't either.
They have lamb ganache.
Yeah.
They have a filet and a ribeye and a bone-in cold smoked pork chop.
No, you seem to like chops.
I come from the land of pig.
You do. Yeah, you like chops. You like tenderloin.
Hey, I introduced you to the fried pork tenderloin.
Oh, it's big as a hubcap sometimes.
From the slippery noodle. We had it from the slippery
noodle.
noodle.
We all got COVID.
Yes. All right. Hour number 2, Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They're kicking it off. 256-881-5151. Yeah, you can experience that Sportsmed difference. Get on over there and let them treat your aches and pains.
Well, the Cajun pasta dish you kind of was reading in the dinner. That kind of intrigued me.
Okay, the Cajun pasta dish is jambalaya pasta.
Yeah, the jambalaya pasta kind of intrigued me.
Marinated chicken breast, sauteed shrimp, tomatoes, and Italian sausage, served over penne pasta in light Cajun cream sauce, finished with a freshly grated Parmesan cheese.
You know what? What needs to happen is, like, since you guys are you are such close good friends of Lenny Acuff, Lenny needs to play in Starkville, so you guys go over there and
he does
do the Lipscomb game, and then
we are going to do a Lipscomb game here coming up in about I think 15 days. We're traveling up to Nashville. We are doing Central Arkansas and Lipscomb.
I don't think Shulman would let me in the gym because that would probably mean they're getting that ass whooped.
I have talked to John via text a few times. It's been a long year for him.
You're resetting an entire program, man.
But you know what?
Scottie Pippen ain't walking through that door.
If we do that game,
by the way, John,
which we are doing that game.
Scottie Pippen went to Central Arkansas.
Yeah, we are doing that game, by the way. Steve and I will be traveling to Nashville. That means we could bring Shulman on the show again to preview the game that we're going to have on the air.
Man, then he'll probably make me leave the room.
So it's been a little bit since we've had him on, but we can do that. Anyway, 256-576-4977, college football. So Ryan Day, by the way, and I know we mentioned, I believe me, this all ties to Auburn, I promise.
Yeah.
Ryan Day got his contract extension the other day, and he's going to be there now for a long time, and he's going to get paid a crap ton of money to coach the Buckeyes. His buyout, by the way, if Ohio State wants to fire him, his buyout is $11.5 million for every year remaining on his contract, which comes out to about $80.5 million.
Well, that's what happens when I told you had equity for life, pretty much.
Now, if he wants to leave, it's like $6.5 million.
Right.
So he's not getting fired anytime soon. But anyway, the reason why we start with Ohio State is because he lost all of his coordinators. He lost his offensive coordinator and his defense coordinator. So he needs to go out and hire.
Chip
he
Kelly
wanted to hire
went to the Raiders.
Yep.
And then Jim Knowles went to Penn State.
And Jim Knowles all ties into this story as well, because Jim Knowles left Ohio State, went to Penn State, and they backed up the Brinks truck, and they are paying him a crap ton of money.
$3 million per year
to run that Ohio State or run the Penn State defense, right?
Still lose, yeah.
So Ryan Day needs a defensive coordinator. On their dry erase board, they circled
Freddie Roach.
No.
Damn it.
D-G, blah, blah, blah. Easy for me to say. DJ Durkin.
Oh, well, now that's interesting.
So that is who Ohio State really
Auburn
was saying.
can't compete financially with Ohio State
in this situation. But Auburn did.
They did. They stepped up.
Auburn did.
Well, good for them.
DJ Durkin.
Cool.
Has a new contract.
What's he got?
That's going to pay him.
That's awesome.
Okay. $2.5 million.
Wow. Man, that's about what they were paying Steele at one time.
He was paid 1.2 this past season.
They doubled his salary.
Doubled his salary because Ohio State was coming and knocking.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool. Good for DJ Durkin, man. He's bounced back nicely in his career. Thought he did a solid job at Auburn last year, kind of trying to scheme around some personnel issues, especially along the defensive line. But good for Auburn, stepping up and keeping them. I really would have thought with Ohio State coming with a howitzer and all the talent that they have, that would be hard to keep him. But, hey, good job, Auburn.
So now Jim Knowles is the number one paid defensive coordinator in college football at 3.1. DJ Durkin is number 2 in college football.
There you go. Auburn stepping it up. Means
he would have been the highest paid assistant last season with that number, but Jim Knowles gets the big Penn State deal.
Yeah.
So now
the Reverend got to win. So
yeah,
you've got to step it up.
No, they're paying it.
Yeah.
They're
now, if he
it.
wins, he's making about $6 million per year or whatever. Then Hugh will get a big contract, and he'll probably get a $3-4 million raise if he can get him, in playoff contention next year. But that's what's got to happen because he's gonna start feeling the heat, man.
So last season in college football, if you are wondering, there was around 9 assistants in college football last year that made at least $2 million a season in college football.
Mm-hmm. Remember
when the first one, I believe it was, did Nick Saban pay it for $1 million to have an assistant be $1 million? Was that one of the first college football assistants to get $1 million? Was that on Nick Saban's staff?
I mean, I think so. I mean, they started paying big bucks like to keep Kirby, and because Kirby was in demand.
Right.
I mean, I know they paid big bucks to keep Kirby. They started paying him, like over $1 million a year. Certainly. Now, offensive coordinators wise, I don't believe McElwain made that kind of money. This was back in the 2007, 2008, 2009, but I'd say in the last 10 years is when you started seeing the $1 million coordinators. Now you started seeing, making several $100,000 a year back 17 years ago when Saban got here. But I think the $1 million coordinators started a few years in, but now it's become commonplace for coordinators to make that.
If Durkin would decide to pack his bags, he would owe Auburn $1 million if it occurred before December 20th of 2025.
They stepped it up. Good for Auburn.
Yeah. So there you go. By the way, before Jim Knowles and before Durkin and all this stuff, Blake Baker of LSU was your highest paid coordinator, $2.5 million.
You mean the one that made Jalen Milroe look like a great player? He's still running.
And then Wink Martindale from Michigan was there, number 2 at $2.3 million.
To believe. I could not believe that several years ago.
That's a game show host.
I know.
Name.
I thought, is that his brother? Is there 2 of them?
They twins.
Oh my Lord.
And then your favorite.
Yeah.
At number 3, this was going into the college football season. Now it's all been reset because of the last 2 contracts.
Yeah.
But your favorite at number 3, Wild Turkey.
Keep him. Good for you. You missed the playoff with the best roster in the SEC.
So who underachieved more, Ole Miss or Alabama?
Ole Miss had better players, being honest.
They had better players than Alabama did.
Best roster in the SEC, and they gagged.
Really? You thought Ole Miss had the best roster in the SEC?
I saw them play.
Outside of Georgia.
And I mean, Jeff from the Borough beat them. I mean, on the road. A horrendous Kentucky team, 4-8. That's what happened. Lane and Jackson Dart and Wild Turkey. Even though I thought the defense actually played well enough to win the game, but still, they gagged all the way around. But, they can have Pete Golding. I ain't worried about that.
Al Golden was number 5 on this list.
And he gone.
Glenn Schumann was number 5 on this list. Yeah, Al Golden is gone.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
Joe Burrow.
Jim Knowles, by the way, at the start of the season, was the 8th highest paid assistant coach in college football.
Well, he's the
number 1 of paid assistant coach in college
Pennsylvania,
football.
So they can try not to gag again. But at least they did get into the playoff and get the kind of draw but they couldn't pay Keandre Lambert-Smith. There you go. He went and put on a show at Auburn without a quarterback.
Kane Womack, by the way, was $1.55 million just at the beginning of last season. It was $1.55 for Kane Womack.
Hellfire. Alabama, Nick Sheridan, we've been wondering. From what I'm hearing, he's going to be the QB coach.
That's where we were going next.
I mean, he makes 1.4. I mean, he makes quite a bit. And now, what's Ryan Grubb going to make? They haven't announced his salary. I'm thinking it might be in the $2 million or a year range, like he was making in Washington.
Do you think it will top 2, or will it be just right?
He's the
under
OC,
2?
Man. He's going to be the OC. I mean, working closely with Kalen DeBoer. Look, man. I mean, hey.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can visit with us. We've talked SEC basketball in hour number 1. kicking off hour number 2 with a little college football conversation. And don't forget, it is the 11th of February, and that means we do have high school basketball starting today as well.
We're huge in the garden.
Regional play is underway. Well, it's 9 o'clock. It's like about 48 minutes.
Yeah, we have a listener that's already in the parking lot at Wallace State. He's fixing to go on in. He said we're coming in clear as a bell here from the new spot, though.
So let's see, February 11th.
And you're so good at reading menus, he wanted to leave and go to Starkville.
I would too.
You go to the restaurant, Tyler?
I would go. So 1A play is getting started today. Eider and Appalachian will play at 9 a.m.
9 a.m., yeah.
On the girls' side, Spring Garden and Winterboro will play at noon today in 1A play. Lynn and Brilliant, they'll meet at noon, all from different sites, of course.
That'll be. I would think Lynn and Brilliant probably at Wallace.
Yeah, I would assume. Yes, because at 10:30, Hubbartville and Hackleburg will meet, and that one will be from Wallace State, Hansville. Meek and Athens Bible in 1A boys, they'll play at 1:30. That, of course, will be Wallace State, Hansville, unless the state just really wanted to play mean with them and make them drive to Jacksonville State. Skyline and Wadley, 1A boys, that'll be at 10:30 at Jacksonville State. And then Winterboro and Oakwood Adventist will play at 1:30 from Wallace State, Hansville. That's 1A boys.
Now, you said Wadley was going to Wallace?
No, Wadley's going to JSU with
Or
Skyline.
JSU. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
My
got
bad.
Skyline. Unless the state just said, well, we're going to make you drive there because Wadley's going to JSU.
I would have thought Wadley would have been going to like Montgomery or something. They're going all the way to JSU.
Because Skyline's not going to. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Wadley's over there.
Yeah.
Near Auburn. Well, okay. I'm just
been reading what the state. I mean, the state has Wadley taking on Skyline today at 10:30.
What does the bracket say? Okay,
So Wadley had a bye because I think somebody in 1A basketball had to forfeit a game for an illegal player.
Here we go.
Yeah. If I remember right, because I saw the note, the state sent out a note, and I got the note. And
well, let me ask you a question about the bracket. Now, if Spring Garden beats Winterboro and gets to the
Jefferson
Elite Eight at JSU and plays Eider, for example, what day would that be?
Okay, who now? What do we?
Because you were just at the bracket.
Wadley and Skyline.
Yeah, and then this is girls. This would be Spring Garden.
This is boy. Oh, you want me to go back to girls?
Yeah, I was just like,
okay. Let me go back to the 1A girls.
Yeah,
and 1A girls has Winterboro and Spring Garden today at noon.
Right, and then
Appalachian and Eider, and it says TBD.
TBD. It doesn't even have a day?
Doesn't have. It just says regional finals TBD.
What?
Yeah, on the state site. It's a fantastic website, the High School Athletic Association website. It is remarkably accurate.
It doesn't. They don't even have a day?
It says TBD.
I already know when.
I know the 20th. Look, I would turn it around and show you that I'm not
20th.
No, I'm saying Huntsville High. And
I know
Hoover
the 17th. That's already been decided. This should have already been decided. What do you mean TBD?
I know it says TBD on all of it. Every 1A game is TBD on the girls' side on the regionals. So I don't know. I don't know. But I do know this. It's 8:16. And let's get a break in. We can talk more high school basketball as well as some college basketball here.
And this is more lunacy. I was just sent a message. Hansville High School is playing at Jacksonville State.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense.
What in the hell are they doing?
They are literally 5 minutes away from Wallace State, Hansville, and you're making them drive an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Stupid.
I told you the state is very smart when it comes to athletics.
Puff, puff, pass.
They've passed it a lot. All right. Let's get a break in. 8:16 on a Tuesday morning.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Last reported accident was in Decatur, 10th and Market, no injury. The one in Decatur on Woodall at King Arthur ended up being an injury type. Parkway southbound at Green Cove and 53 southbound at Blake Bottom both came in as no injury. You need assistance with a project or maybe finding a new employee? Snelling can help. They also do background checks, computer assessments, and payroll. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankofFrankEwing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
We are your home for March Madness.
30 seconds to go. Here comes Suns. Long three for the win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I got rice cooking in the microwave. Got a 3-day bed I don't plan to shave, and it's
all right, 8:20 Tuesday morning. Scott Tyson, DeArmond, 256-576-4977. Man, I keep looking at. We're gonna have to drive over to Starkville to go to Restaurant Tyler.
I knew you would love when I told you.
Well, even their brunch, their blue plate stuff. I mean, have you ever had chicken meatloaf?
No, I have not.
It's ground chicken and vegetables wrapped in a house smoked bacon and smothered in brown gravy.
Well, like
that's chicken meatloaf.
You were in your radio voice. You were reading the damn menu, and we had somebody wanting to leave Wallace State just to drive to Starkville.
Oh man, how about some fried pork chops topped with brown gravy?
Oh Lord, I could think this is going to be a Talent Heating and Air commercial.
Oh boy, hey, we're doing that later today. By the way, we're doing
Brace
our Valentine's Day
everybody.
commercial.
We had people running off the road and slamming their brakes last year.
Big Sexy's back.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, let's go out to the phone lines. Brandon is with us. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning, Brandon.
Good morning. I got my son with his learner's license driving. We're getting ready to aim it towards Jack State.
Okay, so you are going. So update it.
Go Scott, to Cooter Brown's Rib Shack.
Well,
by the way,
I mean, Scott was saying it's TBD. You're as close to Spring Garden as anybody we talked to. If they win, what day do they play in time?
I was told next Tuesday. I don't have time yet.
next Tuesday.
So I bet you if I go to
dang it, they're not playing again this week.
Jack State Athletics, because Jack State does all the live stats for this, and they do a good job with it.
They're doing a better job than AHSAA. Just go
Yeah,
over there.
the HSAA. I mean, they are just remarkably efficient.
They're too busy chasing ambulances.
Yeah, better make sure it's a bona fide move.
Better, yeah.
Well, I'm here with my son. He's driving, and my wife looked at me. I let him drive to Tuscaloosa the other day, and I told her, I said, I just treat it like that movie Out Cold. As long as I don't wake up like that guy in the car when it's going round and round and round and think I'm dying, I think we'll be okay.
Gotcha.
Because he loves to take this very large truck and get as close to people as he can when he stops, and it's not a lot of fun.
Oh,
I let him lay out of school because the Ace said it was okay for him to lay out of school.
Well, that's nice when you got a close personal friend named Ace Austin.
So the 1A girls final would be on the 18th at 3:00.
Okay.
So I got to go to the Jack State site to get that because the AHSAA site is, it's efficient.
It'd be within a week. It'd be a week off.
Yep.
The ladies, if they win at noon today, they get a week off and they play on that Tuesday.
And you said Skyline boys are at Jack State today?
The Skyline boys
correct.
will play at 10:30.
Somehow they're playing Wadley, who drove all the way from near Auburn to play at Jacksonville State.
So Eider and Appalachian will start this morning at 9. Wadley and Skyline boys will be next at 10:30. Go Skyline, because Brian Bellamy and everybody up there, we want to see them
Craig
win.
McGill, friend of the show.
Yep. Spring Garden and Winterboro will be at noon on the girls' side. That's your second semifinal. At 1:30, your 1A boys semifinal will be Winterboro and Oakwood Academy. So we want to see Oakwood Academy get that win today at 1:30.
Yep.
At 3:00, your 2A girls semifinal, Pisgah is going to take on Susan Moore.
Carrie Ellis.
So let's go Pisgah. And then at 4:30, the 2A boys semifinal, Pisgah will be back. So the boys and girls are back to back like they should be. And then at 6:00, your 2A girls semifinal will be North Sand Mountain and Southeastern.
North Sand Mountain, really good team.
And then at 7:30, your 2A boys second semifinal is Section and Southeastern.
And Section's got a really good team yet again.
So that's your lineup today from Jack State.
Well, I'm still a little more than butthurt about that way that Skyline game went. So I'll just leave it at that. And Scott, you need to look up the Ross Diner in Cartersville, Georgia.
Uh-oh.
That is a place you
home of Trevor Lawrence.
Yep. And Wallace State, home of Chloe Rule from Spring Garden. And I know them girls would love to went and saw her there, but that 20-minute drive to Jacksonville is real convenient too.
Well, at least they get to drive 20 minutes. Some of them are driving hours.
Well, you're going to be down next Monday, correct, Drew?
Yes. For Huntsville High, they're playing Vestavia at 7:30. If they win, then they would play on Thursday, against the heavyweight champion of the world, likely. Now, Albertville will get their shot at the title against Hoover, but but Huntsville High plays Vestavia Hills at 7:30 on Monday night.
So you're just going to spend the night and stay for the Garden the next day, hoping that if they make it.
Well, and again, what time was that game on the 18th, Scott? According to them, 3:00.
3:00 on this.
No, I don't think I'll spend the night. I think I'll probably end up coming back, but might make the trek there. I'd really like to see that Eider Spring Garden game. We'll see.
I think that may be the game of the bracket.
It definitely in 1A basketball on the girls' side. I don't care any of the other matchups. It's got to be the top one. When you're talking about the defending 1A champs, the defending 2A champs, and Eider's moved down, it's going to be must see.
Yes. All right, Brandon.
We got to win. They both got to win. Come on, Eider Hornets, and come on, Spring Garden.
All right, let's slip in Bryce here real fast. Good morning, Bryce.
What's up, Bryce?
Two things real quick, guys. Why did Jack State not swing for a bigger hire? Have y'all heard anything about that? Was it a money thing? Because after having Rich Rod, you would think they would have promoted one of his assistants or somebody higher. Charles Kelly just don't excite me.
I don't know.
You know?
I think he's making $1 million a year. I don't really know what. I mean, he's been a long-time fixture in the state. I mean, he went to Auburn. He's coached at Auburn. He's coached at Alabama. I mean, he's been around. He's been a coordinator at Florida State. He's paid his dues to become a head coach.
And I believe when they got Rich Rodriguez, he was not coaching, right?
Correct. He'd been let go.
He had been let go. He was not doing anything. And so it was a great way for him to help Jack State make the transition to Conference USA, get them kind of on the map, and he had great success.
I was campaigning for the former coach and alum there, Bill Clark, who we thought might get back into coaching.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened.
But I guess he's enjoying his time, he's waiting for the right gig.
Mm-hmm.
But there was an interview that Ryan Fowler interviewed Coach Cochran. Now, he said he's going to have some Alabama former players on his staff, but he couldn't announce them yet because they're still putting it together, kind of like the
Sam
guy
Shade.
over in,
Sam Shade.
Sam Shade. He ain't announced it neither, but and Auburn beat us out in something that I don't mind them beating it out. They were ahead of us. I don't know if y'all saw this. Auburn was number 14 most dangerous campus, and unfortunately Alabama was 17. Did y'all see that?
I did not.
That poll?
I did not see that
Well,
poll.
that's crazy, that there's been more crime reported at Auburn's campus, 14th in the nation, which is not a good thing. And Alabama coming 17th, which was, that was crazy. But I didn't know if y'all saw that or not. But that was the two things I had to bring up. So, Jeff, you were right. He didn't call. I was hoping
he called today.
He called earlier.
He was not that ornery. He was He was a good
efficient.
call.
It was good.
It was a good call.
Well, I guess I missed that. Who did they play tonight? You brought it up.
Tennessee rematch.
Oh, well, I'm with you. I dislike Tennessee, but I don't have a problem with Rick Barnes because he's just a class act guy.
No, I like Rick Barnes. I really do, but I just hate the vomits. Hate the
I
colors,
know,
hate the jerseys, hate the logo.
I do too, but I was fortunately when I lived in North Carolina, I went to a little restaurant. I can't remember the name of it. It was Claremont, North Carolina, where he's from. It's outside of Hickory, North Carolina.
Right.
And they had all kind of pictures of him and everything.
You
And
talking
I've
about Rick
always liked
Barnes?
Barnes.
Yeah. He's from there. That's right.
Right, and that was good food there, and I can't remember the name of it because it's been years ago when I lived in North Carolina. That's 30 years ago. Because
we're already getting requests for Restaurant Tyler to be built in Huntsville.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
When y'all said Restaurant Tyler, it brought back about Tyler, Texas.
Oh yeah,
Johnny Football, and I don't know if I mentioned this to y'all yesterday, and Mahomes are from the same area.
Yeah, right.
Around Tyler, East Texas.
Right.
I didn't know if y'all knew that, but all right, guys, thanks for letting me talk because I know y'all got other callers. But what y'all see going on tonight in Austin?
Oh, you mean Alabama and Texas?
Yeah.
My pick was close last time. I said 85-78 Alabama at Arkansas. I'm going to go Alabama tonight. I'm going to go 87-80 over the Texas
Another close
Longhorns.
one on the road. All right, Bryce, thanks for the phone call, bud.
I get a feeling they're going to blow them out. They're going to make a statement tonight. They're going to shut up all the naysayers.
Oh, Lord, let's not start that.
All right, Bryce. Thanks.
I'm thinking 90-70.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks for the phone call, Bryce.
Appreciate it.
By the way, I just kind of peeked to see if Sam Shade has filled out his coaching staff.
You were picking, yeah.
Got on the Alabama A&M football website. They still have Connell Maynard listed as the head coach.
Okay. I was watching Mo Carter doing a good job this Sunday, and they were at the signing day celebration, and we were talking to Sam Shade, some of those coaches.
Yeah.
It's more current than the website.
Let's get a break in. Jack Pilgrim going to talk Kentucky basketball next.
I knew.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy, overcast sky through the course of the afternoon. We're also talking about a fair amount of rain across the Tennessee Valley. Looks like widespread rain is going to move into the area, and then it's going to stick with us through Wednesday afternoon, even as we head into Wednesday evening. Temperatures Tuesday afternoon climbing into the mid-50s across the Tennessee Valley, dropping into the mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight. We are going to be warmer for your Wednesday, highs hanging out in the upper 50s and lower 60s. The rain comes to an end Wednesday night, early into Thursday morning. Temperatures drop into the upper 30s and lower 40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Last reported accident was in Decatur, 10th and Market, no injury. The one in Decatur on Woodall at King Arthur ended up being an entry type. Parkway southbound at Green Cove and 53 southbound at Blake Bottom both came in as no injury. You need assistance with a project or maybe finding a new employee? Snelling can help. They also do background checks, computer assessments, and payroll. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you paint your body, your car, and your dog your school colors? Maybe. But it means more than that. It means your alumni network includes the state, the country, and beyond. It means your school ring doubles as your resume. And yeah, you better believe it means more titles, like doctor, CEO, and your honor. Because this is the SEC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be part of the Southeastern Conference? That yours is the only conference with its own chant? Well, yes, but it means more than that. It means a study abroad program that might include reforestation in a mangrove swamp in Australia. It means finding your calling, your future spouse, your startup's co-founders, and of course, grilling tongs that play your fight song. This is the SEC, and here, it just means more.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. Ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WCZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
.36 Tuesday morning. Scott Tyson, DeArmond, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Tonight, the Kentucky Wildcats go on the road to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. Yeah. Kentucky's at home taking on Tennessee. They've already gone on the road and have beaten Tennessee.
They're trying to sweep the Vomits.
Yep. And Tennessee comes to town a 2.5-point favorite. Kentucky, you knew Mark Pope and company would hit some bumps in their first season. And they have, if you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're 2-4 in their last 6 ball games. All of those have come. I mean, pretty much you've had the Alabama matchup in that matchup. You've had the Vanderbilt, the Tennessee game, the Arkansas game, the Ole Miss game, the South Carolina game. You knew they would take some bumps because the SEC is kind of brutal. But tonight they have a chance to, I guess, continue trending upwards, if you say that they need to be trending, but they're hosting Tennessee.
Yes, they are, and one of my favorite people when it comes to covering Kentucky. I love the whole staff. I was texting with his colleague Tyler Thompson last night, and she is very busy today. But
she's been on the show,
and she's been on the show many times. She got the whole train started with Kentucky Sports Radio. We've had Matt Jones on the show. We just recently added our next guest to the show just several days ago. He's making his second appearance. He does an outstanding job covering Kentucky basketball, unlike any other. He has reported about the injury situation. Now, our caller, the great Jeff from the Borough, did update us also about Jackson Robinson. But, they finally have Lamont Butler back, who I think is the most important basketball player on the Kentucky roster.
Right.
And we're going to talk about that because Kentucky has a chance to sweep the Tennessee Volunteers, and it would be really, really crucial for them, as we've been talking about, staying out of that Wednesday. And this is a really good Kentucky team, but this is the toughest SEC we've ever seen. And we're going to talk some Big Blue Nation with our next guest, Jack Pilgrim of Kentucky Sports Radio via On3 Sports. Good morning, Jack. How are you?
I am doing great. It's snowy in Lexington. Feels like the 7th snow we've gotten. So hopefully that doesn't keep the crowd away. We're going to need the juices pumping here in Rupp Arena as we hope to pull off a big-time upset over the ball.
Yeah, you look at the last 6 games for Tennessee, and it's been kind of up and down. I mean, they've had 4th-ranked Alabama in that stretch. They've had 8th-ranked Tennessee at the time in that stretch, and they've had Ole Miss in that stretch. What has been the difference and why the ups and downs in the last 6?
Yeah, it's been kind of frustrating on Kentucky's side. I think the easiest reason, and I think most people would kind of feel a similar way, is that their starting point guard went down, and your backup point guard's already been out. Kirk Reese has been out since December 7th. So kind of going down the list of ball handlers, and there are no more ball handlers. So you have Jackson Robinson kind of taking over as the makeshift point guard, and Amari Williams at 7 foot, 262 pounds, bringing the ball up the floor and kind of initiating the offense. So it's been a little bit of a disaster. I think Tennessee's game plan was pretty poor going down to Knoxville. Kind of just let Jackson Robinson get to his spots, let Amari bring the ball up the floor without, putting much pressure on the ball and letting Kentucky get into its offense and, they finding shot makers and hitting those shots. And, kind of surprised at how little pressure there was down in Knoxville. You saw, to Coach Cal's credit, he did that exact opposite here at Rupp Arena. And then Chris Beard put forth kind of a similar game plan of, hey, let's, guard them 94 feet. Let's try to make them as uncomfortable as possible without a starting point guard. They did just that, and we saw Kentucky play its worst basketball of the year by far without Lamont Butler in there. So getting him back against South Carolina was crucial. And then now Jackson Robinson dealing with his right shooting wrist injury. He was really, really, really bothered by it against South Carolina. Came out a couple of times, was grabbing it, holding it, kind of, trying to loosen it out, kind of holding it gingerly on the sideline. So I don't know how long that's going to be, but definitely not a short-term kind of deal that we, just kind of missing this one and then get back at it next couple days. So that's one to definitely watch. But Lamont Butler being back in to keep the ball moving, keep the defensive pressure up, is definitely going to be a game changer for Kentucky. So one star back in, and another unfortunately out for the Cats.
Well, I mean, following you guys, and after that Arkansas loss, which was so disappointing, it just seemed like you thought Lamont Butler would be back at some point, but it was kind of unknown. Was it a pleasant surprise to have him back for South Carolina?
It was the most pleasant surprise. You talk to people around the program, and I think the public words that when or if he'll come back, and some of the things Pope had been saying scared more people than some of the folks internally who'd always kind of had it in the back of their mind that he would return at some point. But I think it is one of those deals where had he come back too early, a setback could have been very possible that could have required surgery and then kept him out the rest of the year. So I think they wanted to kind of just milk it as long as they could, keep him out, and see how long they could take it. And they got to that South Carolina game clearly kind of backs against the wall, had no choice but to win that one. And fortunately, he was ready to go by then. So yeah, getting him back. I mean, he's just a straw that stirs the drink.
Yes.
He moves the ball. He gets the paint touches. He defends 94 feet. He is as good of an on-ball defender as you'll find in college basketball. So a lot of the things that have been kind of band-aided and put together with glue and sticks and paper mache have kind of been taken care of with Lamont back in the picture. Now we just got to figure out how to score some points with Jackson out.
In the first matchup between Kentucky and Tennessee came out, and I mean, for some reason they tried to play a style and play who they are not.
11 for 45.
Yeah, I can't imagine Tennessee duplicating that performance tonight or that game plan.
I hope they do.
Because it would definitely favor Kentucky again in this one. And Jack, I mean, we would have to believe Tennessee is not going to have that same game plan like they had in that first matchup.
Yeah, and defensively, they were just as bad. Like I said, giving up, letting Jackson get to his spots, letting Amari get to his spots is at point, without a point guard made no sense to me. And you're talking about one of the, best rock fight teams in college basketball.
Right.
They want to, muck things up. They want to make things ugly, and they just kind of let Kentucky get comfortable. And it just made no sense when you saw how uncomfortable they got. I mean, against Ole Miss was an absolute disaster. We couldn't bring the ball up the floor. I mean, a couple of 10-second violations and shot clock violations. It was a mess, an absolute mess. So, unfortunately, I think if Rick Barnes had a do-over, he would have kind of gone with the John Calipari, Chris Beard game plan instead of just letting Kentucky get to its spots and all that. And yeah, I think shooting 45 three-pointers is not going to be on the docket tonight against Kentucky, although, that's going to be on the docket for Kentucky. They want to launch and fire away as early and often as possible. Jackson being out definitely, hurts quite a bit with the volume issue, but, I think Andrew Carr is a guy who they've been really outspoken about trying to get him more shots and putting him in position to get more, fire away and be more confident firing away. So with Jackson out, I would expect Andrew Carr to, get 3 or 4 attempts up instead of the 1.3 that he's averaging thus far on the year. So they're going to try to get creative. They're going to try to create as many looks as possible. But I think big picture positive is that Amari Williams is playing his best basketball of the year. He's really emerging as one of the best bigs in the SEC, really finding himself with confidence and kind of bully ball down low, scoring at will around the rim. He kind of broke through quite a bit against Arkansas. So I think they're going to try to recreate that with some of the shot volume from the perimeter, taking a hit with Jackson out. I think they're going to try to pound it inside to Amari Williams and kind of let him eat a little bit.
Yeah, and this is Jack Pilgrim, Kentucky Sports Radio. Yeah, and it sounds like Andrew Carr is feeling better. I know he's had a back issue. Like, he was really slowed against Alabama. You could kind of tell he was having trouble defensively. He wasn't moving well. But obviously, the transfer from Wake Forest fits this system really well. So I know you reported he's good to go. So he must be feeling much better.
Yeah, he played 89 seconds the last go around in Knoxville. Just he tried to give it a go. Clearly was even worse off than you guys saw him in the Alabama game, and that was when he was a total non-factor in that one. Grant Nelson just kind of did whatever he wanted with Carr guarding him. So you're basically replacing one Jackson Robinson today with a full strength Andrew Carr after only having him for 89 seconds the last time around in Knoxville, and then a full strength Lamont Butler. So two in, one out. You need the scoring, but man, I mean, when you're going up against a team as physically dominant as Tennessee and really physical and aggressive and really trying to make life uncomfortable for you, day in and day out, you almost take the physicality that Lamont brings and kind of the positional versatility that Andrew Carr brings, and you kind of take that trade-off if you're going to have one. I know Jackson had a terrific game down in Knoxville at 17 and kind of, had 2 early threes, kind of set the tone early down there. But I think this game's going to, if it's going to slow down a little bit, you would rather have, full strength Andrew Carr, full strength Lamont Butler out there to kind of take the, no matter what the style of play Tennessee tries to control with, the pace that they try to play with. I think those two are definitely better counters than what Jackson Robinson would have brought if you could only have one of them. So not the best situation, but I would argue more improved than what they had down in Knoxville.
Kentucky's used to playing in big games and games that mean a lot. This one means a ton because if you look at the SEC standings, it is just kind of a mud pile right there in the middle. And Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. I mean, there's several teams.
Been top 5, top 10 all year, but this league is so
right
deep.
there. And you still have a game with Alabama on the horizon. You got a game with Auburn on the horizon, a game with Missouri on the horizon. All of a sudden, this Tennessee game, to try to not play on that first day of the SEC tournament for a lot of teams, this is a big game.
Yeah, and just historically speaking, win this one, and Kentucky will break the all-time school record for most top 15 wins in the history of the school. They're tied right now with the 02-03 season right now with 6, and this would give them 7. So it's a big historical game for Kentucky as well, and it just kind of goes to show what Mark Post's been able to do in year one. But in terms of the in-season accolades and what it means for what actually matters, the accolades are fun for fans and historical record books, but all they care about is March and making sure they go on a run in Nashville and then going on a run in the NCAA tournament. So this is one where they've been kind of drowning a little bit, trying to tread water with these injury issues. They lost 4 of 6, and you don't want to lose 5 of 7 with even with the South Carolina win. So I think they're just trying to find some season momentum. They kind of plateaued a little bit. They've been trying to find themselves without their starting point guard, with players limited, and just kind of getting through this little hump to hopefully find themselves and find their footing once again. Because this team at full strength is as dangerous as anybody in college basketball. But if they're banged up, missing some key guys, they're vulnerable. They can lose to anybody as well, as we've seen this most recent stretch. So I think just for the season momentum more than anything, they got to win this one and just kind of get their footing back, and just kind of, it's just the confidence and we've beaten Duke, we've beaten Gonzaga, we've beaten these high power offenses, we've beaten played different styles and won ugly when necessary. We just got to find that confidence again, find that what this team looks like at full strength, and see what this team can be in March.
Going to be good stuff inside Rupp Arena. It looks like it's snowing in Lexington. It's going to be raining here in Huntsville, but we're going to be watching closely, and the Kentucky Sports Radio will be all over it via Jack Pilgrim and, of course, Kentucky Sports Radio on 3 Sports. We appreciate the time, sir, and let everybody know how to follow y'all's coverage.
Yeah, at Jack Pilgrim KSR on Twitter or X, and KentuckySportsRadio.com will be pumping out the content from the minute we speak right now all the way through the final buzzer, and then probably into the early hours of the morning. So hopefully it's celebratory content instead of the sad stuff that nobody likes to write about.
No,
we'll take the rain, though, by the way. We'll take the rain, and we'll leave you the snow. We'll let you handle the snow.
Y'all handle snow better than we do.
Yes.
Jack, so.
This game wouldn't be played if we had snow down here. They'd cancel it for some reason.
Okay, but we wish Kentucky all the luck. We appreciate your coverage. We appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
Got to get a break in. We'll wrap it all up next with your tomorrow's headlines.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 Zone.
Last reported accident was in Decatur, 10th and Market, no injury. The one in Decatur on Woodall at King Arthur ended up being an injury type. Parkway southbound at Green Cove and 53 southbound at Blake Bottom both came in as no injury. You need assistance with a project or maybe finding a new employee? Snelling can help. They also do background checks, computer assessments, and payroll. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We're supposed to have college baseball, Division I college baseball being played
Rain, go away.
in the Rocket City by the end of the week. Don't forget,
Go
UNA
away.
and Army are supposed to start a 3-game series on Friday over at Toyota Field, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Go away.
Mother
Not
Nature.
the baseball, Mother Nature.
Mother Nature looking like she does not want to cooperate with that. So we'll have to wait and see if that'll still get played at Toyota Field. And Tiger Woods did announce yesterday that he is pulling out of the Genesis Invitational. He is the tournament host, pulling out, not because of an injury.
Understandable.
His mom passed away at the age of 80 last week, and he said he did his best to get ready, knowing that's what his mom would have wanted him to do, but he's still processing her loss. And so he is not going to play in the Genesis Invitational this week. So a couple little headlines there.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you got high school basketball. We ran down the lineup from Jack State. Here is the lineup today from Wallace State, Hanceville. It's all 1A, 2A. Hubbardville and Marion will be at 9. Hubbardville and Hackleburg boys at 10:30. Lynn and Brilliant girls at noon. And Meek and Athens Bible boys at 1:30. And then in 2A, you got Sullivan and Cold Spring girls at 3. Sullivan and Decatur Heritage boys at 4:30. Followed by Belgreen and Decatur Heritage girls at 6. And then Red Bay and Tanner boys at 7:30. So that's your action today from Wallace State, Hanceville.
There you go.
So
Best
a
time
lot
the
of
year.
high school basketball.
Let's go, Godden.
Lot of high
Ace
school
Austin
basketball.
Against Winterboro, noon.
Winterboro.
There we go.
Winterboro.
Let's go, Eider Hornet ladies. We want to see
But you know what,
the
though?
heavyweight fight.
It's the greatest
Next
time
Tuesday.
because you know why?
Why?
Because if I ever go to Jack State,
Yeah.
it's Big Chief territory.
Oh, that's right. You know, I still haven't had a great milkshake.
You got to get one.
Dang it, you had one, I thought.
It's Big Chief territory when you go to Jack State.
Yeah.
It's on the menu, baby. I want a burger, fries, and a shake.
Maybe I'll go. Maybe if the Godden wins and they play on that Tuesday, I'll end
You
up
gonna go
with
down
Big
there?
Chief. I've had the Big Chief. It's good.
Woo, baby.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom ma. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deal store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts,